ASMR, Mark.
Hey man, I'm inside your brain right now.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Gospel Unplugged. Pastor Ben Cieslik, joined today by
Pastor Mark Dixon.
And we are going to be reading some selected verses from John 21. Last week you might have thought we were finished with John, but now we get a little epilogue, a little postscript, tying up a few loose ends, if you will. So we'll read and discuss. After these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias. And he showed himself in this way. Gathered there together were Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and two other of his disciples. Simon Peter said to them, I am going fishing. They said to him, we'll go with you. They went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, Children, you have no fish, have you? They answered him, No. He said to them, Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some. So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, It is the Lord. When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on some clothes, for he was naked, and he jumped into the lake. But the other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from the land, only about 100 yards off. When they had gone ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there, with fish on it and bread. Jesus said to them, Bring some of the fish that you have just caught. So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore full of large fish, 153 of them. And though there were so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, Come and have breakfast. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? He said to him, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said to him, Feed my lambs. A second time he said to him, Simon, son of John, do you love me? He said to him, Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Jesus said to him, Tend my sheep. He said to him a third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Now Peter felt hurt because Jesus had said to him the third time, Do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. Jesus said to him, Feed my sheep.
And if you're still with us, just go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button.
Absolutely. It's a long one.
Yeah.
And we even trimmed some of it.
You know how some people are like, I've read the whole Bible.
Yeah.
Now you all have too.
Just now, right
This is
now.
the whole Bible.
Okay.
It's good. Beautiful story.
It is a beautiful
famous story.
It's interesting. It's different. It's, it's a scene that appears in the other Gospels, but earlier. John puts it at the end. It seems to be doing something different.
Yeah.
There's some funny or peculiar moments in it. You get, this obvious and seemingly unhelpful Jesus who shows up and it's like, oh, you didn't try the other side of the boat. That's where all the fish are, like to a group of fishermen.
Who have been out all night.
Working.
Just coming in.
Yeah. And then you have naked Peter.
Naked Peter, yep.
And who decides to then put on clothes to swim.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some really...
For dignity's sake.
But then there's some really tender and beautiful things that are happening in here. So
to be fair, that is something that my grandma always used to say too.
What?
Fish naked, swim clothed. Yeah, or else you'll get a stitch in your side.
She's a wise woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Aside from that...
Are you preaching for this?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so we're both doing this. A context that I'm guessing we'll both bring to the pulpit is the story of Peter's denial of Jesus, which I'm sure our enlightened congregation will already bring to this hearing of the story. But just in case some of you weren't here last week, Peter denies Jesus 3 times before the cock crows. That's the famous encounter, the famous moment. Do you know him? I don't know him. No, I saw you with him. I don't know this man. You know, the threefold denial. And so that's really important context for this moment that Jesus and Peter share, where Jesus invites him 3 times to profess his Jesus' love for him. I don't just know you, Jesus, I love you. And Jesus seemingly credits that as true. It's, yeah, you love me. All right, well then do this. So that's an important background context for this story. And one that I think about a lot because the concept of confession and forgiveness is really central to my sort of piety, my imagination, plays a central role in my understanding of our Lutheran theology. And I think there are some pieces to this story that mean a lot for our understanding of confession and forgiveness.
Sure.
Especially what Luther calls satisfaction. You could call reconciliation, repair, but what happens after you say, I'm sorry, and the other person says, I forgive you? What's next? Jesus shows us a beautiful example here with Peter. Well, here's what you do. You make things right. So I like this story.
Yeah. So what is it about what happens here that kind of allows for the possibility of a future where you might assume, based on what has transpired previously, that there wouldn't be any?
That's such a good way of putting it. I don't often remember to invoke that kind of imagery, but that is really forgiveness in its fullest form makes possible a future that was impossible because of how that relationship was damaged. And so when we talk about confession and forgiveness in the Lutheran Church, it's really a threefold thing. It's confession, it's forgiveness, and then it's this thing, satisfaction. And satisfaction is, how do you make it right? So if you stole a loaf of bread from a bakery, you say, I'm sorry. The baker says, I forgive you, but the bakery is still down a loaf of bread. So what do you do about that? Well, maybe you bake them a loaf and bring it in, or maybe you pay for it.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you can't do either of those things, you help, wash the pans for a week or so. You do something to repair that relationship. And then true reconciliation feels closer to hand and that future seems more possible. And so I think that's what we see Jesus doing with Peter here. Let's really reconcile because I want you to be a part of this story in an ongoing way. I want you to share the life that I won for you through the Easter victory. I want you to be a part of that. So, yeah.
I think there's something striking too about it in the sense that it's not immediately evident what's happening. I mean, Peter experiences a sense of confusion about what is unfolding. If you're in a relationship, even if it's fractured, for somebody to ask you over and over again, do you love me? Are you not hearing me? I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And so maybe there's, this moment as Peter is sitting there where all of the pieces finally kind of click into place after the third place. He's like, oh yeah, here's a charcoal fire. I remember where I was last time. Oh yeah, here's Jesus initiating or, not initiating, but renewing this connection that we had. And then when he gets kind of a call, a job, it maybe all sinks in.
Yeah.
What is happening here?
There's two other things, one pretty connected to this, one totally different that with our limited time, I think are interesting to me. One is, what is Jesus calling Peter to? If you love me, what do you want? What do you want to do? Is it just talk about Jesus all the time? Jesus, Jesus, then start singing songs with my name in them through all the foothills. No, Jesus calls it, if you love me, I don't need you to talk about that constantly and put, tattoo my name on your forehead and do whatever. If you love me, take care of mine.
Yeah.
If you love me, and this is like a parent's prayer too. Mm-hmm. Kids, if you love and respect us, be nice to each other. You don't need to buy me an ice cream sundae. You don't need to get me a back rub. If you love me, take care of each other. And I think that's really powerful. And sometimes the modern church has lost the plot on that and thinks adoration of Jesus is the highest expression of Christian faith. And Jesus is offering something else here. Mm-hmm. Love and service for your neighbor is the highest expression of love and respect for Jesus. The other thing that kind of takes us away from this a little bit, but I just want to think about it for 30 seconds with people. This is Jesus at his human best, in my opinion. We talk with the confirmation kids all the time about how the second part of the Apostles' Creed is the longest. The part that's about Jesus is a full paragraph. God the Father, I believe in God the Father. It's a line. Holy Spirit, a couple lines. Jesus is the bulk of it. And it's because we know him the best.
Sure.
And when I talk about with them, I say, he hugged people. He wept. And this scene is so earthy and so familiar. He cooked over an open fire and had chats with people by the shore of the waters. Like, it's so cooked fish and fed people. So I just love this scene, and I don't want people to lose that like beautiful dimension of this. This is Jesus sitting around an open fire cooking food for the people that he loved.
I saw something on, I don't remember where, social media somewhere, and it was about parenting. And it was addressing this desire we always have when kids come home to figure out, like, well, how do you talk to them? How do you get them to engage with you about, how your day went? And it was inviting us to think about, like, how do you create the circumstances for conversations to happen naturally? And it really feels like that's kind of what Jesus is doing in this. And like you're saying, he's like, all right, let's just have a meal together. And he doesn't bring up, hey, Peter, remember when you did this? Like, that made me really sad. Like, he just kind of naturally allows the conversation to unfold, and it leads to this really beautiful place.
No.
Very earthy, very human. Love it. So when we get ready, as people are getting ready for Sunday, what do you want them to be anticipating, noodling on, thinking about?
I have 2 questions for them. The first question is in 3 parts. It's basically just one question. Have you ever experienced forgiveness like this? And as someone who aspires to follow Jesus and imitate Jesus to the best of our human frail abilities, have you ever extended forgiveness like this? And then another question is, what do you imagine Jesus would want to talk to you about while he's cooking you fish over an open fire? What conversation do you need to have with Jesus? What conversation does Jesus desire to have with you?
I love that. It's great. Well, thanks. Fun conversation. Good luck on Sunday.
Always a joy. And remember, hit that like and subscribe button.
And we'll see you in church on Sunday.